Good morning. It is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of self. Understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we'd like to see change in those areas, then we do need to shift and change the energy within inside of self. And hopefully, this reading will help you to understand yourself some more and understand how you are affecting your experiences and be able to shift and create the experiences you do want to have. So, welcome. It snowed last night. I live in the Arctic tundra of northern New York currently. So, I was like, oh God, it's already melting. I'm sure it's not going to stick around for long, but it is definitely like something that is coming. It's definitely coming. I realized I turned my chat off by accident. I wonder if I can turn it back on. Hang on a second. Yes, I can. There we go. That should put it. There we go. Okay, so now my YouTube should also have a chat if you are wanting to comment during the reading. I will not be doing free readings during this reading. This is a collective reading. You can be watching this either on TikTok or YouTube. If you're watching it on TikTok and you do not think you'll be able to stay for the entire thing, it will be available on YouTube after later today when you do have a chance to watch it. So let's get started. Let's get centered. Let's do a little visualizing today. So we're just going to begin by checking in, just noticing how you feel right now. How do you feel? Do you feel tired? Do you feel wide awake? Think of the way your body feels right now. Do you have any aches or pains or tension? Maybe you feel pretty comfortable. Check into the energy. If you're a person who feels or reads energy, does it feel heavy or light or sticky or sparkly? And then your mind, what kind of thoughts are you having right now? Are you having sort of a lot of thoughts, or is it just kind of very focused on what's about to happen for the reading? And you can just notice these things. And of course, you do not have to do anything about the way that you feel right now. It's just really you are noticing it and just becoming tuned in and aware. And I want you to notice how you feel, because I want you to ask yourself, what do you think you need that would make you feel better right now? What do you think? Oh, if this happened, I would just feel so much better than I feel right now. What would make you feel better? Even if you feel good, what is something that if it happened, you would just be really delighted? You can close your eyes if you haven't already and just start to imagine that thing is happening to you right now. I want you to notice, as this event is playing out in your mind, as much detail as you can about this experience. So you're envisioning the room that you are in, or whether you're inside or outside, the colors, the smells, the feel of the temperature, the sounds. I want you to really start to notice some of the physical sensations that this event creates in your body. If you had tension, do you feel some sense of relief? Have you released some of that tension? Do you feel lighter? Do you feel excited? Where do you feel the excitement in your body? Where do you feel the lightness in your body? Just feel into these sensations. And know that as you're doing this, you are creating these new pathways for this experience. Let it be your intention that you will have this experience in the physical. And you're just practicing it now during this visualization. So now that you've had this experience, I want you to envision a sacred space of your choosing. It can be inside or outside. And I want you to imagine that you are so safe and comfortable in this space. And I want you to call in your highest version of self. And then imagine that version of self approaching you. Pay attention to the way that this version of self moves. Be graceful and confident, energetic, self-assured. Notice the clothing that this version of self is wearing. These are all the elements that you want to align with. So I want you to envision that this version of self comes to you and holds your hands in their hands. Imagine that they lean over and tell you something that you most need to know right now. Listen to your higher self. Intend that you shall remember what you most need to know. Now imagine that this higher version of self is embracing you. And you feel safe and warm and secure. You feel supported in this firm, confident, loving embrace. And listen to your higher self say to you, I am so proud of you for all the work that you've done to come into alignment with me. I love you. I cherish you. I value you. I appreciate you. I am so grateful for you. I'm so excited for you. feel this higher version of self begin to merge and integrate fully with you. Until you have become one complete being. And when you're ready, find your way back up to my voice so that we can begin the collective tune-in for today. All right. So at the beginning of that visualization, I had you imagine something that you thought would make you feel better right now. If you just came to the live and you need a minute, I'm just going to give you just a minute to think about what you think would make you feel better right now. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. So just think about for a minute, what do you think would make you feel better right now? Because whatever that is what you think that you need in order to create the sensations and feelings that you were seeking, which if you were completed the entire visualization, you may have started to feel as you were imagining it. That process of imagining something and actually creating the physical sensations in your body is proof positive that you actually do not need the physical event to get the feelings that you are after. And in fact, there are myriad ways of achieving the feelings that we're seeking. Our ego likes to convince us that there is only one way to experience this thing, but there are many ways, there are many paths to alignment. And when you know that thing that you want doesn't mean that you can't have that, or that it won't feel good, or that you don't need it anymore. It just means that you don't have to have this thing that is seeming so far away have so much power over you that all you do is notice that that thing hasn't happened. You're focused so much on the event itself, you forget even the reasons why you want the event in the first place. That visualization also helps you establish new pathways in your brain so that you're not just thinking about the things you don't want, but you're actually practicing experiencing the feelings that you do want. And calling in your higher self gives you an opportunity to see where you want to go. If your higher self was drastically different from you and had a lot of things about it that you do not feel you are fully in alignment with, rather than feel discouraged, feel that knowledge, that inner knowing that that version of yourself does exist, and that coming into alignment with it is as simple as sort of understanding the different aspects of self that you feel the higher self has and starting to work on giving yourself those things. The card I am holding is the card that will consistently give us the feelings that we were seeking from our first idea of what will make us feel better right now. What will actually make us feel better is the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is an energy of beginning somewhere, having something, and taking it one step at a time, but a knowing that this thing that you have is going to grow. It's having this awareness that you're starting with something and it's going to grow into something that you are desiring, but that you have to go one step at a time towards this thing. It can also be about receiving or giving some kind of an offer. If you want to receive an offer, then you have to ask, well, what am I offering to myself lately? What have I been offering myself? Have you been offering others things, but not actually offering yourself time, consideration, even treats or rewards for the things that you do accomplish? So keeping all of that in mind is going to be very helpful for you to create the feelings that you are seeking. Maybe you think you need one major event to create the feelings that you're seeking. And this card is suggesting no, you actually need a lot of little small events that are leading up to this place. Good morning, Liberty Bell. Good to see you. Okay, so let's get started and check in and see how the masculine and feminine energy are doing today. I am freezing, so I'm just gonna grab this sweatshirt 1 second. Oh, Northern New York. It's like 9 months of the year. It's winter. Okay. Here we go. Top of the deck, overall headspace, divine masculine energy. We have the lovely King of Cups. We love the King of Cups. I mean, it's debatable. King of Cups is kind, compassionate, caring, loving, husband, father, guide, energy, somebody who is sensitive. They have very, very deep feelings, very deep emotions, but they tend to stay on the surface of them so that they don't feel overwhelmed. And this is their idea of mastery, although it ends up becoming more about control, truly, than mastery. Mastery is the ability to feel the deep feelings, express the deep feelings, and not feel overwhelmed by them. And so eventually, a King of Cups does achieve that mastery, but it takes time, and they're more likely to avoid conflict rather than dealing with feelings and emotions. However, the divine feminine energy right now in the heart space, overall energy, is the Sun card. And the Sun card, every card in the tarot has both shadow and light. And the Sun card's shadow is that if you stay in the sun too long, you can get burnt, right? So there is this fear, and we do see the fear there with that dark thought, or in this case, this black bird or crow or whatever this is, kind of over her head space. So there is a fear of not being able to sustain happiness, or to be concerned about something being too good to be true. And I'm not picking up on a heavy shadow from this card today. I actually do think the feminine energy feels quite good right now. If there is any concern, it's just like, is this really happening? Because the song for today is I Feel It Coming. And I think the divine feminine is like, I want to embrace this good feeling, because I really do feel like the potential for this King of Cups to fully express his feelings, and to show this mastery over this controlling energy. I feel that potential is here, and all of our happiness is like right there. And I just don't want to do anything to kill it. Like, I don't want to do anything that's going to keep this from happening. So I have the sense that the feminine energy is trying to remain very present. We see her hand, it's actually touching this bird, and we can almost feel her just sort of like gently pulling it away, and just being like, I know what you are, and you are actually going to keep me from being happy, and that's not going to happen this time. That is not going to happen this time. I will not let my dark thoughts about not deserving or not being worthy or feeling things don't work out. That's not going to keep me from believing that this person who I have chosen as my masculine energy is kind and good and deeply loves me and is willing to express this love to me in whatever way they are capable of doing. So we love that for her. Underlying all thoughts and decisions, we see the masculine energy here with this Four of Swords, and the feminine energy with the Eight of Cups. So healing from the separation, But the separation that was, what do I want to say, necessary. The feminine, realizing the masculine was not yet able to give commitment, had to do right by herself and walk away. The masculine, of course, experienced a lot of grief from this. He had to heal from this energy. He had to have faith that this would work out, that the divine feminine would return to him when he had achieved mastery and could give her happiness. So this is the underlying energy. So this is what is in the back of both of the minds and the niggling feeling that's really in the heart space of both. That this energy of having to walk away while, towards your higher calling, that is healing, that this runner chaser dynamic does not have to exist anymore, but that we can come back together, because going towards the higher self, which we did in our visualization, is actually going home. It's coming home to, in this case, your divine masculine or divine feminine energy. So healing from abandonment wounds is a big one, and truly healing from it so that you no longer have to keep walking away from one another in order to heal. First thing on the mind and in the heart space. Oh shit. We have the Star card and the Four of Wands for the divine masculine energy, and the Two of Swords for the divine feminine energy. So also, just so you know, I'm using the Fountain Tarot for the head space or the masculine energy, and the Tarot of Mystical Moments for the heart space or the feminine energy. Okay. So this is quite significant. First of all, I forgot to mention, if you were here for the shuffling during the TikTok live, then you already know this, but both of my decks were turned upside down. So I actually had to reverse all of the cards. So something that has always gone wrong is now going to be right. And that is an overwhelming message coming from this first position too, because we have the masculine hoping that he can have this sacred union, stable, healthy foundation, reunion, celebration, marriage, commitment, etc. with the feminine. And we have the feminine in this Two of Swords, which is surrendering the decision in regards to this energy until she sees it, because right now her eyes are covered. So she's like, if I see that you are coming back to me and we are going to reunite, I will absolutely say yes. There is no way that I will say no. But I have to see it. And so right now I feel it, and I feel peace because I feel it. One of my friends and I exchanged readings last week, and I did her reading early in the week, and then she was like, oh, let me know when you want your reading. And I realized that I wasn't even anxious for it because I had achieved this extremely neutral energy. But she did my reading. It was beautiful. It's actually the Crafty Country Witch, Lady Luna on TikTok, who I collab with. She did. It was an incredible reading. It was so on point. And even some of the things that she said happened the very next day. So I was like, damn. But when I went into the reading, she was like, well, what are you feeling? And I was like, I don't know what reading I want. I feel really pretty neutral. And so I did get the reading, and then I felt that peace that I had gone into the reading with. It was sustained throughout the reading. When I got a little bit of the reading coming true the next day, I felt some excitement, but it was really level, and it wasn't too extreme. It was very temperance energy. Like, it was like, ooh, that feels good, but not like overwhelming. It felt just right. So this is the energy I'm getting right now, where the masculine and feminine are, and that's boding well. Currently, we see the masculine very nervous, anxious in this devil energy to communicate with the feminine with the Eight of Wands here. So we have the devil card and the Eight of Wands. So he's nervous because the masculine energy has to actually now say what he's feeling, right? So he has to bring what he's feeling, these depths of feelings, emotions, and find some way to express it. It's making her, how do you express this? Like, this is an overwhelming amount of feeling. There have been many things that have happened. There have been addictions. There have been past karmic partners. There have been, harsh words, criticism, in some cases, torture, experiences of mental torture. And on top of all of that, you have to also say, I love you, which is something that is not simple or straightforward for either one of these energies because of the wounds they've carried. So, I definitely feel this nervousness about how to express fully to the feminine and how she will experience this lightness of being, and it will free them from this bondage of this fear-based behavior that both of them have been engaging in. And there is a willingness to face that fear and talk, but it is very, very uncomfortable for the masculine energy. He is scared. He's scared. But it's time. There's the Three of Wands here for the masculine energy, the Queen of Swords for the feminine energy, and the Five of Pentacles. It's time for the masculine to face that the reason why he has any fear is because through the separation, through the feminine feeling this rejection, abandonment, lack of affection, attention, communication, expression, lack, she has had to create these healthy boundaries. She has come into her power. She's independent. She's a formidable opponent. She's clever. She's not going to just, she's not going to just accept some bullshit. Like, she knows what went on. She's aware. She has clarity. And so he has to actually communicate the hold up, what caused him to require her to have so much patience, how he had to be patient with himself because he did have to address these issues. He had to find some kind of a strategy to address these issues of lack in order to be ready now to express to her. So it is time for this conversation to take place. And that Three of Wands is, I feel it coming energy. It's like, it's time to face this music. Oh my God. Clarify this. Star and the Four of Wands and the Two of Swords is Judgment in the head space and the Ten of Pentacles in the heart space. So I literally said, I think I said face the music already, which is the Judgment card thing. We had reunion and reconciliation, and then the Ten of Pentacles is like material happiness. So it is what has been happening, or what we've been working on, is being able to reconcile what it is that we want in the material. Because once you know what you truly desire to have, that's your moment. You can either admit that you are giving that to yourself or not. And you have to sort of face that music and be like, I know what I want and I don't do anything to give it to myself, or I didn't do anything to give it to myself, and that's on me. And you have to forgive yourself for that and ask forgiveness from the person that was involved with this. You got all of those cards yesterday. I'm just seeing some of my comments here. So for sure, it is absolutely Judgment Day. Like, it is time again, that theme, and coming back together and reconciling. And that is what both masculine and feminine energy truly desire, to be together, to create that family. Clarifying the Devil card there's a lot of major energy in this reading too. The Devil card and the Eight of Wands is the Hierophant and the Ace of Wands. So I want to be committed to you in a long-term relationship. I want to marry you. And that is why he's scared, right? That is why there's a fear here, because he has to communicate and express that he has learned all of these lessons the hard way. And when you learn something the hard way, usually it's been a bit messy. And so you have to take accountability for the Pandora's box that you opened by the behaviors that you engaged in. It was part of your spiritual ascension, and you can acknowledge that. But you want to have faith now that you are going to be able to actually communicate those deep feelings that up until this point you were just sitting on. And then finally, clarifying the Three of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and the Five of Pentacles, we have the Page of Swords, and interestingly, the only card in reverse here, the Temperance card, which it was interesting because I said the feminine was feeling temperance. She was feeling this neutrality or this peace or whatever. But then we have here that there is going to be this, like, probably a lot of excitement. There'll be extreme emotion, extreme feelings coming up. And the masculine has to have the courage to communicate, even though he doesn't know how the feminine is going to react. If she's going to be extremely happy, extremely sad, extremely excited. There are going to be things, I think, that are going to stir all of those emotions. It's going to be mixed emotions. You know, there's going to be moments where she's going to be like, oh my God, I'm so happy that you're here. And I think a few minutes later going to be like, what the fuck took you so long, right? Like, and then when he's like, well, this and that, there's going to be like, I'm so glad I know that now, but why did you do that? Like, I think it's just going to be a lot, you know? And it's not, that's, I think, the general reason for this fear we see coming up. Is just, he doesn't know if the divine feminine is going to be able to regulate her emotions. And he's really just got to have the faith that the divine is protecting the connection no matter what he has to say to her. Because remember, you always blow things out of proportion in your mind. I am a person who has a lot of friends with a ton of anxiety. My anxiety is different from I tend to have less anxiety about social interactions. I'm usually like, yeah, I can navigate it. Whereas I have a lot of friends that are like very afraid. Oh, this person is thinking that, or this person is thinking this or that or the other thing. And I'll be like, no, they're not. Like, when they talk to me, I'll be like, that is not what they're thinking. Like, you're just, you're being crazy right now. Like, first, like, somebody will be like, oh, they don't even want me to talk to them. And I'll be like, bro, if they didn't want you to talk to them, this wouldn't be happening. So you're just imagining that it's going to be bad. Or you're like, oh, I have to tell my mom and she's going to be so upset. And I'll be like, no, she won't. I'm a mother. And if my child told me that, I would not be upset by that. That's kind of a baseless idea, but it's overwhelming. It creates this sensation. You don't know how somebody's going to emotionally react. And so you just want to bring them satisfaction. You don't want to bring them any more pain, but some of the things that you have to say are inherently going to create a pain response. It's just the nature of the information that you carry with you. So, but it doesn't matter, because the Page of Swords is brave. The Page of Swords does it anyway. The Page of Swords is, for me, Harry Potter behind the gravestone with his wand and only Expelliarmus, and that's the only spell he's got, and he's going to face Voldemort anyway, and he does, and he wins. And he doesn't win because he's the more gifted of the two in terms of his knowledge of witchcraft and wizardry. He wins because of his heart, like his courageous heart, and he wins because of love. And I think that same message is coming through here today. Like, he's going to do it anyway, and he's going to win because he started off with this, which is a deep, undying, the depths can't even be, we have never even reached the depths of the ocean. we know less about it than we do about space in some ways. That's how deep these feelings are. So 100%, 100%, it's going to work out just fine. He's going to do it. He has to. There is nothing but deep love here in this connection. All right, you can go about your business. No, all right, let's do the oracles, the final oracles. I'm so glad this is resonating and making sense for you all that are here. All right, so first card up for oracles today. I just kind of let them fall in a different order than I usually let them fall in. We have the trust card coming out from the spell casting oracle. Yes, that's what it's called, spell casting oracle. It is in reverse. And so my message for this is, if you have anything left that you need to tweak before this is all going to come together, it is trust. And I just had this conversation with my brother last night. Both of us admitted that we were equally afraid of the masculine or feminine energy. I said to my brother, I fear the masculine energy will hurt me, physically hurt me, mentally hurt me. My brother said, I feel the feminine energy is going to mentally or emotionally wound me. And we both looked at each other and were like, cool, we can't trust anyone. And I said, well, the good news is, when you want to work on trust issues, the actual trustworthiness of the person that you're focused on doesn't even matter. Trust is all about yourself. Can you trust yourself to handle whatever situation you are in? Can you trust yourself to make healthy choices for yourself? If you find out that you are having insecurity in regards to your partner, meaning you are starting to worry that they are stepping out, or that they're lying, or that they're not telling the truth, can you trust yourself to communicate about it? Can you trust yourself to communicate your needs? Can you trust yourself to do the work that it would take to feel secure in attachment? If you can't trust yourself to do those things, the trustworthiness of the person is irrelevant. If you do not have the ability to really believe in your feelings and know the difference between fear and intuition, then you could have the most trustworthy person who is never ever going to cheat on you and still think that they would, because you don't trust yourself to choose somebody who wouldn't harm you. So that sort of opens this up to, there's a lot of people in the world, and you're only going to attract the trustworthy ones if you yourself can believe in your own trustworthiness. So your person doesn't have to show you. A lot of people be like, well, my person needs to show me that I can trust them. They need to earn my trust. No, they don't. They just have to be who they are, and you have to trust yourself to be able to handle it. If you have an experience like you had in the past that was uncomfortable, that you can navigate it, that you can set a healthy boundary and be like, no, this is not how we do. And because this is happening, I'm going to enact my boundary, and I'm going to remove myself from your company because you've crossed this line. You have to have that trust in yourself only. It really doesn't matter if the person is going to lie again. And it's harder to build trust with someone if you don't have that trust for self. They can try to earn it as much as they want. If you don't think you're going to be okay, you're never going to feel safe or secure. So that's something that really needs to be worked on. This is the mindset that does need to be cultivated, which means it's not something you're thinking on a regular basis. So you need to actually put some effort into repeating this affirmation or thinking this more frequently. And it is, thank you, universe, for helping me see beyond the limits of fear, right? Fear that you can't trust someone is very limiting. So thank you, universe, for helping me see beyond the limits of fear. Thank you for expanding my perceptions so that I can see what is of the highest good. If somebody lies to you and betrays you, and you now have evidence that this person is untrustworthy, you can act in one of two ways. You can retreat within inside of yourself and decide that all of the people that you may interact with will be like this in the future and live from that place of fear. Or you can tune into your power, tell this person that they have crossed a line with you and that you do not allow somebody to treat you this way, and still give them a place at your table. And you can trust that they showed their true colors to you so that you could do what is for the highest good. And the only reason this event happened wasn't because there was something lacking in you. It was because you needed a reason to remove this person from your life, because they are evidence that there is still a part of you that has this wound that was going to attract this perfect match to that wound until you've healed it. And you have to remove yourself from that person and focus on that wound and heal the wound in order to either see a version of this person that will not behave that way, or to actually invite in somebody that is truly in their integrity, and can mirror back your integrity to you. The message today from the Spirit Animal Oracle is Cow Spirit. It is the miracles are endless, and it is number 15, and it is the protection message that is associated with this card. And it says, Cow Spirit asks you to pay attention to how you nourish your mind, body, and spirit, because right now you are wobbling around like a newborn calf on its unsteady legs. Perhaps you've been spending too much time distracting yourself on the internet, or obsessing over a relationship, or choosing to eat food that is not healthy. Whatever it is, you're being nudged to assess how you are looking after your needs. Remember, the universe has a way of reflecting back to you events and conditions that match how you treat yourself. Cow Spirit reminds you that the universe wants to give you the very best, but needs you to do your part to participate and nourish your well-being. Heed her message and everything will shift in your favor. So this reading is showing us today that the universe really does want to give you this very best thing. But you have to make sure that you are prepared to receive that by showing that you want to participate in nourishing and giving to yourself. You had a cow in your dream the other day? I love that. I live in a cow town, so. All right, we are getting this card. It came out in reverse, so I will choose the Dusk deck book guidebook to read from. This is the Seed and Sickle Tarot. It has two guidebooks, and when I get a reversal, I choose Dusk, and when it's upright, I choose Dawn. And this is the 22nd card, 2-2. So that's decisions, choices, and changes. I believe it is a summertime energy, so it can be significant. Yes, it is summer, and I think it's towards the end of the summer. It might be midsummer. Yeah, it's kind of like midsummer. Clematis, and this can indicate a significant time, like something happened at that time, or something is bound to happen at that time, in a year or something like that, like in the next cycle. It can also just be about the energy of summertime and harvesting abundance. It says, you've been holding on so tightly to your control of the world that your fingers are starting to ache. But here's a thought. How about you try letting go? Not everything needs to be controlled, and you may find that you've put enough safeguards in place to be able to support yourself even without clinging on so. You'll naturally want to resist the feeling of falling, but you may find that a fall isn't actually coming and that it feels good to let go. So I think that something happened around this point of time in the summer where I'm feeling the feminine energy let go, of trying to make this connection happen. And that forced the masculine energy to lose control, because up until that point, the feminine constantly working to try to make the relationship happen was a way for the masculine to assume this illusion of control, because it was like, as long as she's working at this, she's not working at other things. As soon as she let go, the masculine realized that he could not control the outcome by manipulation, by all of the different tactics that he had tried before to sort of keep her attention, but not actually deal with some of the things that he needed to deal with in order to be with her. So I do think that at this point in time, both of them had to let go of control. And this is what has caused us to now enter into this time period where the two of them can finally come together, precisely because they've surrendered this controlling energy. Controlling energy is about fear. If you are concerned at what's going to happen, you're going to try to control the outcome so that you can avoid whatever you're afraid of happening. But that is almost always counterintuitive. Because when your motivation to try to control something is to prevent the bad thing from happening, you're constantly thinking about the bad thing that you're trying to avoid. And if you're constantly feeding energy into what you're avoiding in general, and you're not actually creating the outcome you desire, you're pushing out the outcome you fear. So this is something that the two have learned. And I think that the actual payoff, the rewards for having learned that lesson are here now in this collective energy. The theme for this week is the devil. And we already saw the devil at the center of the reading for the masculine energy. And the devil is, of course, not just shadow, just like the sun is not just light. The sun can burn you, and the devil card can bring you pleasure and your right to pleasure. Remember, the devil tempted Eve to eat from the fruit of the tree of knowledge. And knowledge is a blessed thing, but it can make you afraid, because once you know all of the things that could potentially happen, you have an awareness of all of the ways that you could fail. So there is light in the devil card too. It is not just shadow. But facing your fears and facing your anxieties and facing your ego and the way the ego convinces you of certain things is really important in this moment to get through from this point of I feel it coming to I feel it's here. And I know you can do it. I know you can do it. It's 11:11 as I'm saying that on the clock right now, and there's 4 people and there's 4 likes in this room. OMG. Also, thank you for all the likes over here. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you, babes. If you did not get to see the full reading here on TikTok, please hop over to my Tuned In Tarot YouTube. It is streaming live. You can scroll all the way back to the beginning. For those of you that joined me here on YouTube, thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to head back over now to TikTok and do personal readings. So if you would like a personal reading for $33, you can join me on TikTok and send a payment, PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. There's a link in my profile. And I will begin your readings in the order that I receive payments. Otherwise, I will see you later this week. You can become a member if you want to see the full-length Tell Me Everything spread that I did on Saturday, the extended version. It was a long one and a good one, and it is available for all of my members. Or if you are a subscriber on my TikTok channel, then you will also receive that playlist of the Tell Me Everything readings, which reminds me, I need to do a check that I have DM'd everybody that's currently a subscriber. So if you didn't get a DM from me yet, pay attention to your DMs over the next day or so, and I will make sure you get that link that you need. But thank you, everybody, for being here with me today on YouTube. I will see you next week live, and there will be replays available during this week from the TikTok lives that I do about 6 days a week. So take care. All my love to you. Have a good day.